What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Andre. You guys thought I was gone, but we're back and we've got a microphone, okay? The quality is stepping up. Like, new videos every 6 months is what we're doing nowadays. So, today we are talking about this six pack abs. Because I went from this to this in 2 years, okay? So, this isn't like, let's get abs overnight type of thing. But if you actually want to get a six pack, I'm telling you, it's not that hard. You know, all I did was two exercises, and two exercises only. And I just trained them hard and I trained them often. And it turns out you can grow your abdominal muscles. You know, there's like 1.5 million guides online right now about how to get a six pack. And I would say the majority of them don't even mention actually training your abs. They're like, everyone tells you, oh, you just got to get your body fat low enough and then you'll be able to see your abs. And that's all you got to do. And I was actually of that camp for a long time. I was like totally subscribing to that. Like, I'll just do compound lifts and my core is going to get worked, you know, through heavy bracing. If I'm doing like a squat or a deadlift, that's got to be building my core. And I'm sure it is. But I don't think it's actually going to make your six pack pop like I wanted it to. So 2 years ago, I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was pretty lean. I've always been pretty lean. It's been really easy for me to stay relatively skinny. But I looked down at my midsection here and like no six pack to be found. Like I had some lines, a little bit of definition here, but no six pack. And I was like, you know, maybe it's a genetic thing. Maybe it's just I've been lied to, that it's not just about leanness. And then what really got me thinking about it was I saw this picture of Eddie Hall, world's strongest man at some point. He's like this massive human being. And the guy had to have been like 25% body fat, and you could still see his six pack. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? You know, they tell you got to be lean, but then this guy has got a six pack at 25% body fat. So I'm like, there's got to be something to this. That's what really first started to change my beliefs about abs. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it a goal to train abs every single day. And if that doesn't give me a six pack, then I'm just like, okay, maybe it is just genetics. So for the first 6 months that I started doing this, I trained abs every single day, no days off. I would do four sets of abs of these two exercises that I'm about to go over right now. All I would do is 4 sets every single day, train them hard. That was it. And then eventually after 6 months, I was like, okay, this is a lot to be doing every single day. So I bumped it down to about 4 times a week. So now I still train abs very frequently. It's still very simple. It's only these 2 exercises. But let me tell you, it worked. It worked. After a couple of years, I have a well-defined six-pack abs right now. And personally, I think the abs are the most aesthetic muscle a human being can have. When someone takes off their shirt, your eyes are immediately drawn to the six-pack. It just like screams like that guy is an athlete. That guy is strong. So that's why I was like, I need to have one of these. Guys, I just don't know what to do with this. I just got it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right, guys, 2 exercises. We're talking hanging leg raises and the ab wheel. Now, I'm sure you've seen both these exercises in the past, and if you've tried them before, you'll know these are very difficult, and that's the whole reason I chose these 2 exercises, because I was like, I need to train abs just like I train every other movement, where you're focusing on going close to failure and you want to progressively overload over time. So if you just do that with like a crunch, I don't want to end up doing like 200 crunches in 2 years. You know, that's just ridiculous. I don't got time for that. So I'm like, let's figure out what the hardest exercises are. Which ones do I feel the most in my actual abdominal muscles? And let's train those and train them hard. All right, folks, exercise number 1 is the hanging leg raise. Now, there's a couple ways to do these. You can do them just hanging from a bar, lift your feet up to the bar. But my preferred method is to hook your triceps into some sort of strap like this. They actually make specific equipment just for this, but you know how we do. It's a garage gym. We just make do with what we got. So we hang these straps from the rafters. And this way, if you hook your elbows like this, the only thing you have to focus on is contracting your abs as hard as you can. You don't have to worry about your grip, you're like keeping your shoulders engaged, you know, because all I'm trying to do with this movement is work my abs, you know? I don't want to have to worry about hanging onto the bar. Simple enough, right? Well, I wish it were that simple. The key to doing these correctly is figuring out the best way to actually engage your abs. So when I first started doing these, I think I would only feel them in my hip flexors. And it wasn't until I started thinking about what is the purpose of the abs. The abs is to bring the rib cage closer to the hips. So like this movement right here, you know, like you're pushing your lower back out. So that's what you want to think about when you're doing this movement. Every single rep that you do, all I'm thinking is, here's my favorite cue, is bring my elbows to my hips. Okay, so elbows to hips. Elbows to hips, you know? So you do as many of those as you can, touching your feet all the way up to the bar. And when you can't make it all the way up, that's when you can, you know, bend your legs into like a tuck position and just start doing a few of these. You keep just cranking them out until you're at total failure. All right, then we got the ab wheel. Now, this movement is one of the most difficult ab movements that there is. And I would say you may have done this before and kind of hurt your lower back because it's kind of easy to do. It's kind of easy to do the movement without actually using your abs. And that's the annoying part about training abs, is that if you're not actually really focused on engaging your abdominal muscles, you can just do the movement with other muscles. So like one of the functions of the lats is to pull your arms this way. So you can literally do this movement with just your lats, and you just arch your lower back and just crank your back, be in total pain after the set. But that's not what we want to do, okay? I feel like I gotta take my shirt off for this, but then where do I put the mic, okay? So when I'm doing the movement, guys, I want you to be pushing your lower back out as hard as you can the entire time. You're pushing your lower back out. You're going down as far as you comfortably can. And then you pull back out. The entire time you're pushing your lower back out. Kind of like, it's almost like you're doing a plank. Like you don't want your lower back to sag when you're doing a plank. This is basically just an advanced plank that involves more of a stretch and contract type movement. Yes, you need to be sufficiently low enough body fat in order to see your abs. But, if you train them just like you train every other muscle, you progressively overload, you get stronger at the movements over time, you're going to be able to grow your abdominal muscles, and then you can see them at a higher body fat percentage. That's how you can see Eddie Hall's abs, even when he's 25% body fat. Oh, I forgot. You know what helped me a ton doing these? You know, I feel like everybody does this, where like, the only time you train abs is you slot them in at the end of your training routine. How I feel like I got the best bang for my buck doing these is completely separating my ab training from the rest of my training. So I would either do them like first thing in the morning, or I would do them, you know, I would train first thing in the morning, and then maybe at some point later in the day, I'd be like, okay, I got an extra 10 minutes free. I'm going to toss in my 4 sets of abs. And then like that way, you're able to bring like full focus and attention to that one movement because you're like, I want to grow my abs. You know, you gotta bring in that full focus. If you just toss them in at the end of your workout, you're going to be half-assing them. You're already going to be burnt out. So you got to bring your full focus and attention if you want to pull this off, guys. And I feel like everyone can have a six-pack. I mean, everyone's six-pack is going to look different, you know? Everyone's got different muscle insertions, and I think that's something that you're going to have to recognize that like you're not gonna have. Not everyone's gonna have like the perfect, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or like the 8-pack. That's like elite genetics. But you can at least have some sort of abdominal development if you actually put in some work and train them, just like any other muscle. All right, that's it, guys. That's the training tip for today. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Andre's out.